On a fateful day, March 19th, 1960, Sharon claimed that she heard a gunshot in the house towards the bedroom where James was sleeping. When she entered the room, she saw Dana, who was two and a half at the time, holding James's high standard .22 pistol on the bed next to James, and James was bleeding from a gunshot wound on the back of his head. Sharon called the police, but James was dead when the ambulance arrived. Now, all the evidence was definitely in Sharon's favor here. The police could not recover any fingerprints from the grip of the pistol. There was no test performed on Dana or Sharon for gunpowder residue. And multiple people, family and neighbors, claimed that James often allowed Dana to play with his guns, which is pretty wild.
That's terrible.
I know. Which, I mean, specifically, my research said play with. So, police tested Dana and her ability to pull the trigger on the gun that, like, matched the one that killed James, and she was able to successfully pull it, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
With all of this, the case was ruled an accidental homicide. Anyway, another wild fact. After the case was closed, Sharon tried to reclaim the pistol that killed James, like a crazy hoe. But police took it into custody and never gave it back to her, thank God. But no worries, guys. Sharon still got her hands on a .22 caliber automatic pistol by asking a guy friend to purchase one for her.
Of course.
Yes.
She needs protection, obviously. Little
Right.
1950s housewife.
Absolutely.
In independence.
Yeah. I know. So, the buddy did buy her a pistol, and he was like, oh, I got this registered in your name. And she's all like, no, you need to register it under another name. So, guys, if someone asks you to do something shady, please tell somebody. So, with the case closed on James, he was buried and Sharon collected his nice life insurance. She received about $29,000, but in today's money, that's $230,000.
I'd be living good.
I know, right? So, April rolls around. Sharon's rolling in the life insurance money, so she says to herself, you know what? I'm gonna go get me a brand new car.
Her dream car.
Yes. Sharon goes to a local car dealership and purchases a Ford Thunderbird. And at this dealership, she met Walter Jones Jr. Now, Walter was a married man with 2 children. Oh, but Sharon was just so hot. I mean, how could he resist? So, this lame-o started an affair with Sharon. Walter didn't want to leave his wife, though.
No, of course not.
His wife was Patricia Jones, which just sounds like a song name to me. And what was probably an attempt to get Walter to fall in love with her or something, Sharon was all like, hey, go on this trip with me. We'll go to Washington State. It's going to be so romantic. And Walter was like, nah. I like boinking you, but, like, I can't be going on vacation with you. That's just relationship level activity. Sharon got all huffy, went on her trip with her brother instead. She got back later in May, and she reunited with Walter and told him, yo, I'm pregnant. This BB is yours, my guy. You should probably get rid of Patricia and be with me. And Walter just said, nope, we are so over. And Sharon was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Her whole tactic did not work on the man with
the
2
first
kids.
time.
Yeah, but this guy already has an established family.
Yeah.
In the afternoon of May 26th, Sharon called Patricia at her office and was all like, hey girl, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but your man's Walter, he's been stepping out on you with your sister, and I can tell you more if you want to meet up later. So messed up. Patricia's like, OMG, I knew something weird was going on. Yes, girl, tell me everything. So Patricia never came home that night.
Oh.
Now, Walter was panicking that night when his wife didn't come home, of course. The next day, he filed a missing persons report. So he called Sharon up and was like, hey, did you see or speak to my wife? And Sharon was like, yeah, I told her all about how you're a big old cheater. And then I dropped her off near your house. And then she was talking to some dude in a 1957 green Ford.
That's very specific.
I know. Like, after hearing this, Walter insisted on meeting with Sharon again. And this time, he was super angry. Well, he was. Apparently, he even held a key to Sharon's throat to, like, threaten.
A key?
Yeah. I guess he didn't have anything else. So he held a key to her throat and was like, tell me where Patricia is! This, like, really, it didn't get him anywhere, though. I guess the key was not threatening or sharp enough.
No.
They eventually parted ways, which I'd love to see how that conversation ended.
Yeah.
And Sharon decided to call up an old flame of hers, and she's like, hey, babe, I know this is Aki, but I need you to help me search for this lady I met the other day. She's missing. I don't know. Maybe we can help. He agreed, so the two went driving around together, and somehow they stumbled upon Patricia's body in a secluded area about 1 mile outside of Independence.
Yeah.
And apparently it was like somewhere that Patricia and this old flame like used to go make out.
Yeah, it was like a lover's lane.
Yeah. So Patricia had been shot 4 times by a .22 caliber pistol. The fatal shot was to her head. She had 1 bullet wound in her abdomen and 2 in her shoulders. Powder burns were on her skirt, which indicated the gun had been fired at close range at least once. Mm-hmm. She was buried on May 31st. Of course, Sharon, Walter, and Sharon's old flame, whose name was John Boldies, by the way, in case you wanted to know, were interviewed by police like pretty much immediately. The 2 men agreed to take a lie detector test, and they both passed their test, but Sharon declined to take a lie detector test, and she wouldn't write a statement. She did give an oral statement. When it came to trying to find evidence where Patricia's body was found, the police were struggle bussing. They sifted through dirt trying to find bullets that passed through Patricia's body. They even brought in a Boy Scout troop to help look through the dirt.
Oh my goodness.
Like, okay, kids, today we're going to help solve a real murder.
Is the body gone at least at this point?
The body's been gone, but like they're looking for bullets in the dirt.
Chalk line is still there.
Yes.
Terrible.
A 9-year-old's like, according to blood spatter, I think the bullet would have been over here. Yeah, no, the 60s are wildin'. So they did end up finding a .22 caliber rifle slug buried in the ground where Patricia's body had been found. Could not confirm if it was a child from the Boy Scout troop that found it or not.
So if it was in the ground, like buried, that sounds like she shot her from, like when she's laying down on the ground and she shoots her and it goes through.
That's what I was thinking. Either that or she like she saw where the bullet was and tried to bury it. I don't know. But yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. So they could at least say that Patricia had 1 injury in this location because of this 1 bullet. Mm-hmm. So the investigators went on to drag the nearby bodies of water for the gun. No such luck, though. They checked nearby buildings for blood spatter and gunshot evidence, but again, nothing. Now, police were able to rule out the .22 caliber pistol that killed James Kinne as the same gun involved in Patricia's death because they still had that gun in the sheriff's office. However, the dude that bought Sharon that new .22 caliber pistol came forward and told the police that he did that.
Good job.
Yes. What a good guy after doing the wrong thing. The police searched Sharon's house, and they did find a box that they once believed to hold a gun, but alas, the gun was gone. Sharon was all like, oh, that gun? Yeah, I totally lost it on a trip I took to Washington, like, oops. So, how do you lose your pistol on vacation?
Yeah.
What were you doing? So, May 31st, Sharon was arrested for the murder of Patricia Jones, which that was the same day Patricia was buried, like I said. So, kind of, I don't know, silver lining, I guess. Jackson County also wanted prosecutors to consider another charge for murder for James Kinne. So I don't really know what came up that made Jackson County go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, I guess just the fact that she'd been involved in, like, 2 murder scenes so close together.
Yeah, probably. They're both 22s.
Yeah. But Sharon had a couple of lawyers ready to swing for her. Their names were Alex Peebles, LOL. I don't know why Peebles is such a funny last name. Martha Sperry Hickman. They were all like, yeah, we're going to file a habeas corpus with the court, so y'all need to let our girl go. So habeas corpus basically just requires the government to provide legal proof of grounds for confinement. And they were not ready to provide any proof. So Sharon was released on a $20,000 bond while she waited for her preliminary hearing on June 16th. On July 11th, Sharon went to her arraignment and was initially denied bail, but the Missouri Court of Appeal struck down that ruling days later because the prosecution was relying on circumstantial evidence. So she was freed on a $24,000 bond on July 18th. She's just like paying every month like $20,000. But because she was very preggers at this time, her trial date was delayed. She gave birth to her next daughter, Marla Christine, on January 16th, 1961. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the trials, and then that's all I have, which I thought this would take longer to get through. I don't know what we're at right now.
30 minutes, but like 10 of that was us just talking.
Oh, crap. Okay. Jeez.
It's okay.
I thought that 5 pages was a lot. Okay. So, Sharon was charged with 2 murders, but she was tried for them separately. The trial for Patricia began in mid-June 1961. Now, both sides used timing and pathologist testimony in their arguments. Honestly, it's really convoluted. I'm not going to get super into it. Walter did testify too, and he was all like, yeah, I was boinking Sharon, and she told me she was preggers, and I tried to end our relationship. She was upset. The prosecution failed to firmly prove that Sharon owned or had the weapon that killed Patricia. They even tracked down the man that sold the pistol to Sharon's friend in the beginning, and he said that he had fired that pistol before, so the police went to a tree that he had been shooting at, and unfortunately the bullets they got out of the tree trunk couldn't be identifiable as having come from the gun that killed Patricia. Boo. Hate to hear it.
Yeah.
So, June 21st, the prosecution rested its case. They successfully convinced the jury that, hey, Sharon had no reason to kill Patricia. Nobody can prove that pistol was in Sharon's possession as the murder weapon. No motive, no murder weapon, no evidence, mic drop.
No motive?